I have a very specific memory of playing Space Invaders in Great Yarmouth when I was about 12 or 13. So I hadn't played it for ages because I was getting on a bit by then. And I thought, oh, I'll have a quick go on Space Invaders. And it was then I realised, possibly because I wasn't tall enough to have seen down into the machine before, that you don't play the screen directly, so to speak. You were looking at a reflection of a CRT screen below, and it absolutely blew my mind because I had no idea that was the case. And I think it made me more interested in how things work behind the scenes going forward.
I remember showing Space Invaders respect in the arcade, even back then. And even currently today, whenever I see a Space Invaders cabinet in the arcade, I still show it that respect and pop in 25 cents. It's still super fun to play today.
It very well could be the earliest video game memory I have, and it's all thanks to Space Invaders. See, my dad had an Atari 2600 at the time, and we went back and forth playing the Space Invaders port all the time, trying to beat each other's high scores, getting those, Atari joystick blisters on the inside of our hand. But the sounds of that game specifically, they'll stick with me forever. It's a ka-ch, ka-ch, ka-ch. And then the invaders, as they got closer to your bunkers with their marching, just thump, 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 thump. It gave me, a sense of dread and worry for years as a child, just trying to constantly get the high scores and, the sense of impending doom that the invaders were bringing down upon you as they got closer and closer. I mean, it's a fantastic childhood memory just for video games and Space Invaders alike. So 45 years, I mean, that's quite impressive. Happy birthday, Space Invaders. Thanks for all the memories, and if I'm being honest, probably a few nightmares from my childhood.
One of my favorite Space Invaders memory was back in the day. I went to a pizza place called Shakey's Pizza. It was, a franchise in the United States, and they had a Space Invaders game. I was so young, I had to use a bar stool to climb up and play. It was one of my very first arcade games I've played, and so many great memories of playing that iconic game, and then later on playing the 2600 version.
Space Invaders. I think that game was the first time I was actually stressed out as a kid. I played it at my cousin's house on the Commodore 64. It was really fun, but I remember feeling this immense pressure as the aliens got closer and closer and closer. And it wasn't until years later that I played it in the arcade and with the speaker system and the don't. It was the pressure and the stress that made that game memorable.